Well, hey, good morning. Welcome to Blue Gamer Bluecast Morning Show. I'm your host, Adam Blue, 30-plus year video game enthusiast and industry analyst. Today is January 8th, 2025. It is still cold as heck outside. Just got back from walking my youngest to school, so yeah, I can be a weatherman here at the first part of the show and say, yes, it is cold. Well, at least in Texas, but it's Texas, so I assume everywhere else. Hey, Fulcrum, good morning. How you doing? And Autonomous, good to see you all. So today's show is going to be crazy. There's enough Switch 2 information out in the wild to do a Switch 2 presentation announcement showcase without it being officially from Nintendo. It's crazy. I mean, we've been getting little tidbits here and there. This is the same with the Switch and the Wii U and the Wii. I remember, it's interesting how it's interesting how Nintendo plays their reveals compared to the others. But yeah, we're going to get into a little bit of that here shortly. Yeah, it's going to be a Switch-heavy episode, but there'll be more that we could talk about. All right, we're going to start with what I've been playing. And so yesterday over on the Gundam Explained channel, I actually did a live stream playing Gundam Breaker 4. Because I was going to be playing Gundam Breaker 4 anyway, and I was like, you know what, I'll go ahead and stream it. And that's a lot of fun, because while I was streaming it, there were others that were then able to join me, so I was able to, I'm doing multiplayer more than ever, actually. And the multiplayer is not bad, just in the sense that you have someone there with you that you're, beating up other Gunpla with. I'm still working on, getting the rest of the achievements. That's my main goal. And so, part of that is going to have to be leveling up my parts. It takes time. So I'm just using the suit, which is a full armor unicorn that I have been using most of the time. I'd love to use other suits, but then I'd have to kind of start over in terms of, okay, go farm for lesser parts so that I can upgrade to then use the suit in the later missions that I'm trying to do. Because honestly, what am I going to do once I've beaten all the missions? How often would I go back and play? So Travis brings up, I do think the multiplayer helps its longevity just a smidge. And so that's key there, because it's like I could be done with the game, but maybe someone's like, hey, I just got this game. Can you jump in with me? It's like, oh, yeah, sure. I guess I'll load it up, because it is kind of easy how it works. I kind of like how it works, because it's like I don't like how it works, but I like how it works. From having no expectations, I like how it works, because you have a lobby that can have up to 24 people, even though only 3 can go out on a mission at a time. But that's still just a cool way to have everyone hang out. Some people could be working on assembling their Gunpla, which takes a whole game to do, while others could be jumping into missions. I think there's a lot there if you could get a big group like that, which would be cool. If I could do that for one episode or one live stream for Gundam Explain, have it where we try to get as many people as we can in a lobby. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, it's just one of those things where, yeah, once I'm done, I think I don't know. I wish there was another way to go about, and that would be an interesting exercise, actually, to go through and think about games that have progression systems, but unlock stuff as you go. Like, there's this balance between you want to unlock the end game stuff to then use for a while, but I feel like I would then, by the time I unlock everything I need, I would beat the game, and so it doesn't matter. And that's what happens a lot. Midnight Hatter, they need a boss rush mode or something. Yeah, a late game alternate game mode. Yeah, I think that is key. Something where there's more you can actually do that doesn't require grinding or leveling up, but by having a high end. And I was actually thinking about this the other day. What game was I playing? Oh, I can actually look at my list here. I don't know, unless I was just thinking about it, where okay, you get to a point where you get the end game materials you need, right? Of whatever the last upgrade is for whatever. And then it would be where then it unlocks this just new mode or set of levels that then the unlocks are cosmetic based in a way, you know what I mean? Or what is, yeah, it has to do something with a boss rush. I think that's good. Raid mode, autonomous, that's a good idea. Games that make you grind for the grind's sake are just snow fun. Yeah, and that's the thing. Sometimes I am thinking, okay, why am I grinding this? And it's pretty interesting because the other game on this list that I was playing yesterday, the PlayStation Portal, which was flawless yesterday every time I played it, it does pretty good with its the way it's structured, because it has the main game mode, which again is it's like a run where you do it multiple times and there's different paths. Because I got it where my Godzilla's fully upgraded. So what now? Well, there's actually an achievement I haven't got where you can, if you play your route right, you can make this character called Jet Jaguar show up 3 different times. Like you have to get like a certain level, 50% destruction, then beat it. Anyway, it's like, okay, I'm fully upgraded, so I can quickly get to that, complete that. Oh, that was a neat little experience. It didn't really do anything, but it's like an achievement, not in terms of getting an achievement, but of like, here's an event and experience offered in this game. Now that you're fully leveled up, you can go and do that. I think that works well. But yeah, that's really all I played. Although it's interesting, I was looking at this screen here from Exophase of the last 4 games I played. Oh, and even if I look at 5, like I'm not far off from getting all these achievements. I wonder if, or trophies, not that I need them, but I feel like there's a sense of accomplishment. Like when I got the Platinum Trophy for Godzilla on PS3, I just felt good in general. I was like, yeah, I spent time on an electronic device doing all the tasks programmed. Does that really mean anything? But personally, it does, a little fun thing. So it's like Gundam Breakers 4 is probably going to happen next, Godzilla down the line. There's a lot of grinding that's going to happen. I'm going to, jump back and forth. And then Astrobot, I don't know, because of those speedrun levels. Anyway, that's what I've been playing, and so I want to get into Switch news, but before we get into the Switch news, there's some information that kind of helps build to the Switch news. And here's one. SteamOS is coming to more PC gaming handhelds, starting with Lenovo's new unit. The Legion S Go or something like that? Yeah, Lenovo Legion Go S. There we go. Okay, so here's my thoughts real quick. I reserved a Steam Deck initially, and then I canceled it because I realized, okay, they're going to actually have Windows-based handhelds. With SteamOS, you're locked to what you could play on Steam, which, there's a lot that you could do on Steam, but there's a lot that I do that's not on Steam, like especially Good Old Games, GOG. So many games I have on there that are DRM-free, easy to play. There's the Epic Store. There's the Xbox Store because of Game Pass that's on there. So for me, spending that amount of money on a Steam Deck doesn't make sense when I could just buy the ROG Ally, because you actually can modify the SteamOS to run Windows, but the performance is way lesser than getting something like a ROG Ally. And the ROG Ally, again, I'm able to play anything. That's awesome. But playing the PS Portal recently, I can not fully see, but kind of see the positives to having that streamlined OS experience. You're locked down to a specific feature set, specific games, but it's way more streamlined. You can just get in and play, right? So one, I think it's cool that SteamOS is going to more handhelds. Originally, people thought it was open because they said it was, but really just at like a base level, not all the UI elements and certain things. That actually you have to work with Valve, get that ported. So while there's going to be a Steam handheld from other manufacturers, it's still limited to Steam, right? So then Microsoft will combine Xbox and Windows together to enhance the handheld experience. Now, this is more along the lines of what I'm looking for. Here's a ROG Ally pictured here, which it's even showing its UI and interface, which is very easy to use. You really just click on the game you want to play. There's even, I don't think it's showing it here, but there's also where you can tab between the games or your apps like Steam, Xbox, GOG, so you can actually then go to those storefronts. I think, let's see, many opt to go with a Steam Deck because the SteamOS is built for gaming first. Whereas the Windows 11 implementation featured on most handheld gaming devices is designed for multitasking of sorts. I know it's designed for multitasking. it's just designed to be used as a computer. I think it's the best way to say it. I mean, people are multitasking anyway. When a lot of times when you're playing games on PC, you have your Discord up or something. Let's see. Sure, it means that all Windows 11 devices are much more versatile and inclusive, but the experience isn't great overall, and using a stock standard Windows UI on a 7-inch or 8-inch is often painstaking. And I hear people say this. I've even made a video, and I think it was on my Gundam Explained channel, of showing how easy you could just start playing Gundam Battle Operation 2 on PlayStation on a ROG Ally. So that versatility is there. People say it's often painstaking, but then I have to think. When you have that elder that's like, hey, can you help me with the computer? Can you help me with the TV? Maybe I don't realize how hard it is for people to use a computer. And I'm even just talking about basic things like open the file explorer, press the start button. What more did I have to do on my ROG Ally? Not much. Yet I get full control in the highest end graphics possible. But we're talking about OSs on these handhelds that are running natively and locally, which after using the PS Portal and Stadia, when I used it, I am convinced that game streaming is the future. And we're just now in this, this is the grandpa phase of these handhelds having it's like the antiques that they have the hardware inside to play. I feel like that's going to be gone soon. And I think that's where, again, sure, maybe more devices are getting a Steam OS, but if Microsoft is working to combine the Xbox and Windows together in a handheld, that's even better because of their xCloud, because of the game streaming. Because just like the Portal, I want a light device that's focused on the ergonomics and the controls, and then I don't have to worry about the graphics because it's being streamed to me, so they're all high end. So if you can see what I'm saying, that's the ultimate goal, vision of where we need to get to. So hopefully we hear more news about that. This is now going to lead to the Switch thing, because here's what's interesting about if we go to the Switch, which we're getting a native locally run piece of hardware. So while it's going to look good, or it's going to look better than a Switch, I think it's still going to be held back. I don't know. Nintendo is in a unique position because of the popularity with kids and families, although, I mean, if you think since the Switch has come out, people have grown up out of it. I almost feel like these are legacy generational based things, like the Nintendo stuff. I think Nintendo has a unique position like that because we're going to be getting inferior hardware, 100%. The stuff that comes out from Nintendo is going to be inferior. I almost feel like, and this is what I even, discussed before on this channel, that they should make the dock the actual hardware. And the Switch handheld is what if you're using it in handheld mode, it beams to that. But Nintendo's still doing it old school because it works for them. They've delayed releasing the Switch 2 because their Switch did fine. They just recently reported Switch sales are down, but that's completely fine because they're waiting for that moment. They were not going to release the Switch 2 if the Switch sales were still climbing. So, the Nintendo Switch 2 is coming to CES 2025 with several accessory makers showing off a model of the console and its accessories. Genki, with whom I was able to chat, claims to own a real Switch 2. Let's release everyone, says April. Announcement, they don't have the info. That's some translation mess. Okay. On the television present on its stand, Genki presents videos of the Joy-Con 2 controllers in which we can see the famous optical sensor that has been talked about so much in recent days. That's kind of like when, when Gundam, when the core fighter in the mobile suit, they have the optical sensor. That's exactly what this is. However, she has no idea of the usefulness of the C button, which will appear on the right Joy-Con. At CES 2025, Genki exhibits two models of the Switch 2, which confirm all the previous rumors. The Joy-Con are now magnetic with a very good feeling of solidity. There is a button to remove the Joy-Con. The Switch 2 is also larger than the Switch 1 and introduces a second USB-C port at the top. We were also able to see the Joy-Con 2 with a colored joystick without the possibility of filming them. Okay, again, it is impossible to say if they are real accessories or replicas designed for promotional purposes, which makes sense. I saw a fully 3D printed one that I think was being shown at CES when they were showing off cases. Okay, the real Nintendo Switch 2 would circulate among accessory stores. Is the real Switch 2 currently walking in Las Vegas? According to some accessories, it is possible to acquire it on the black market, provided that you put money. It could be a lie to maintain the myth, but accessory manufacturers probably claim to own the real Nintendo console. That's interesting. The fact that it does not provide any details about the software is suspicious, but several brands, including Genki, indicate their mold was made from the real console, not 3D plans. Is the release of the Nintendo Switch 2 in April real? The date of March 28th, 2025 had previously been mentioned. I remember hearing that, a late March, which this time frame makes sense. Nintendo has historically released consoles around this time. Again, they get the enthusiasts in early, so by the time the holiday comes, that's like the main gift that people buy for everybody. The Switch 2 will release in April and then be announced in July. That's funny. Okay, so here are some of those pictures we were talking about, and you can clearly see this is 3D printed. But that's really neat. I love this sort of thing. Even for fun, I would do this if I had my 3D printer working, just to print a little mock-up. Yeah, showing how the controllers work and everything. Yeah, the new sort of design for the Joy-Con. We're going to see that a little closer here shortly. Okay, FunLab appears to hint at the reveal of accessories coming to the Switch 2. And that's probably this right here. And I guess there's not much to this. That looks like Mario. Mario's clothing, which is kind of funny. I'm surprised I actually caught that. I'm usually bad at catching that stuff. Here's some really good AI art. Look at that. What game is that? You know, there is some charm to AI art when it's obvious and it like makes weird things, but okay. Switch 2 dummy unit on show at CES 2025. On my further inspection, it appears that it doesn't align with some of the other leaks, notably the screen protector listing on Amazon. This is a very, very close replica, but the screen proportion isn't quite right. It wouldn't surprise me if the actual size of the unit and Joy-Cons are accurate, but the screen appears not so. Yeah, that's right, because there's going to be the bezel. So it could be manufacturers might be going off the whole like screen, not counting the bezel. I'm sure that's something that would be hard to get. So that's, I guess, what we were looking at. Okay, yeah, this looked pretty neat. So these are those accessories behind the screens. The Joy-Con dummy unit colors match what has previously been leaked. And yeah, I remember hearing about the colors that would be on, you know, underneath the joystick, which I think is interesting. This whole thing looks cool, and it could be that, yeah, this is third party anyway. But, you know, still looks really neat. Okay. New image of the Genki Switch 2 Joy-Con render. It shows how the release mechanism works. Also shows a laser from the sensor. Again, the lasers. Nintendo is implementing lasers. So that makes me think when the Core Fighter and the Mobile Suit, when they join, you know, this could be Victory, this could be Double Zeta. It's probably magnets along with the laser. You know, most of these mobile suits had magnetic coating. I know that's a deep cut for people that don't know Gundam but are following me for gaming, but I think there's a big crossover. Let's see. But that would undermine what makes the Switch what it is now. If it gets reinforced graphical enhancements when docked somehow, that would be interesting. Yeah, and I know what you mean. That's why I think Nintendo is kind of luckily in their own space where they could just survive based on who they are. And, you know, there was kind of that, like, right now, if you play a Switch docked, you could play in 1080 or 720, or it's a higher res, but then if you know, take it off, it lowers the graphics. I think Hyrule Warriors, Calamity War, I think, was one of those. Okay. So here's this picture here showing the inside where it's showing the laser, a little optical laser. You see some magnets, some buttons. I mean, assuming these things are magnets. That's probably the sync. That probably has to do with the connecting. Okay, here's the side, I guess, of the unit where, yeah, it's interesting how it goes in. It's not the slide thing. I wonder if they're going to come up with a new sound or something for that. But let me actually go back. Yeah, you can see this little indent right in the middle, and it's actually that little protrusion there to connect. So that's pretty neat. And then this, it's kind of blurry, but I really like how big this trigger is. I feel like that's better to grip because, again, I'm not a fan of the Joy-Con. You know, I usually use third party or use a pro controller, but I think there's room for them to refine it. And then here's that button on the side. I remember earlier I used to I would guess, oh, is that like finally they're doing some back buttons? But no, it's it's been confirmed. It's the release for the Switch, or, you know, a Switch, not the Switch, for the Joy-Cons. Let's see. I wonder if that was it for that. Okay, here's just a video showing, again, that mock one, which is interesting because I guess it was, oh, okay, so there's more video stuff. I didn't see this yet. But, I mean, that looks so professional, as if, I mean, this has got to be real. Why would they spend their time doing all this stuff, printing all this stuff? It's pretty cool, though, that they're able to show off the case they're coming out with. And notice how that case works, where you undo something to pull the Joy-Con out. I don't know if there was something like that on the Switch currently. Let me go. Yeah, see, that's pretty neat how he's just pulling that out, because that actually gives me some ideas. So if on the Switch case that you have on, if you wanted to take out the controller, you would just undo the bottom. It just makes me think how much, whether that's something you undo, you snap in, that could have bulk to it, more ergonomics for a controller. I mean, you can already do that. I mean, I keep staring at my Switch. It's like behind something. I can't grab it. But I have like the coolest controllers I've ever found, and I've barely put any use. I don't play the Switch much. But yeah, that's another big thing. So yeah, that's the screen protector, and it looks, yeah, you can see like this mock-up of the Switch on it. Oh, JSOX, or JSO. I don't know how you would say that exactly, but they make really good stuff. I learned that during the ROG Ally. I got a lot of, not a lot, but I got a few things for the ROG Ally from them. Okay, so to kind of wrap things up, CES, where companies are showing off their products, are showing Switch 2 accessories, and they're using 3D printed Switch based on a mold of the real Switch 2. And apparently there is a Switch 2 on the floor there, like behind the scenes, in some back alleys, whatever. And that through the rumblings, even though we've heard a late March release, that it actually could be April. Either way, that's close. That's in line with what Nintendo has done previously. The one main thing that people keep bringing up that I don't think is too big of a deal, but it's like no software. No one has announced the software for the Switch 2. And I think it's because Switch 2 is really going to be more of that upgrade for everybody. You know, it could be people with, I know the first Switch I have is already kind of damaged in a way. It still works, but it's like, it's seen some rough times. So it would make sense to upgrade to a Switch 2. I would be able to play my original games. Some might look better. I'm sure the UI is going to be the same. Maybe they'll change it. But I feel like Nintendo's really going to make it apparent what the Switch 2 is, just because the Switch has been around for so long. But I other than the exclusive Nintendo, like new Mario, 3D Mario, I feel like there's not going to be much surprises in software. Let me actually do something real quick. Release date. So the Wii came out November 19th, 2006. The Wii U came out November 18th. So for some reason, I thought it was. Oh, the Switch was March 3rd, 2017. It's so crazy because if you think about in the 90s how often consoles were being released. And now it's not really the case, but time does go by really fast. Okay, Ditch the Class saying UI is going to be completely new. Well, that's cool. Do you have any, let's see, switch to UI. Do you have any information on that? Let me see. Because it could be. I mean, it could be new, but, for Nintendo, what works, works. And I think Nintendo has to be cognizant of getting people to the Switch too, just like what happened from the Wii to the Wii U. It didn't work out, and the Wii U was a failure for them. They can't, okay, let's see. Here's an old, let's see. Oh, man, you know what? It's funny when you look back at old leaks, it's like, okay, yeah, that was not even true. I'm going to read. Okay, it doesn't really say. Okay, I was reading something I found. But there's the built-in camera could be a thing. No LOL, but I can't imagine they would use the same UI. At the very least, it would be refreshed and updated. Yeah, I'm sure there might be some changes to it, but it's not going to be like a Wii to Wii U to Wii U to Switch. I would say it's like how PS3, PS4, and PS5 have been consistently similar. The XMB style interface. Because, what more can you do? I would almost say Microsoft's kind of gone almost the wrong way, because now less of when you turn on an Xbox, less of it is games. In fact, there's ads, and it's very annoying. And I don't think Nintendo is going to go that way. So I think they're going to make it up front. Here are the games. And it's interesting what Nintendo does, because they did this with, I think, the 3DS and the Switch, where it was so limited what you could do. It would just show the games for, on the screen. And then later they updated it to where you could have folders or do more. It's very interesting. That I think PlayStation 4 might have went that path too. Okay, let's see. That might be it for today. Hold on, let me see. All right, here we go. 3DS came out February 26, 2011. I knew there was another early year release. Oh, I'm not sure. And, what's interesting to think is the 3DS and, console division kind of came together, and that's what the Switch is. So both the 3DS and the Switch were introduced earlier in the year. Yeah, it's very interesting to see the direction Nintendo is going. But what I want to end with is the direction I think they should be going, but they don't necessarily need to. I think we kind of established it because Nintendo's they keep things low price. But using the PlayStation Portal, using Xbox Game Pass, the idea of being able to be on any hardware I have, stream my games, and they look great is the future of gaming. It should not be you're locked down to this hardware, that hardware. I mean, I guess it could be if it's very unique, like if it's a unique way to play a game that can't be done, any other way. Blaze 2K morning, new viewer and subscriber. You just showed up on my feed. Keep up the great work, dude. Been listening to you in the background as I work. Can't lie, having a Steam Deck, not super excited. Well, hey, yeah, thanks for subscribing. Glad you're able to listen while I like to do this so that, people can start work, listen in the background. Yeah, and speaking of Steam Deck, I'm wondering if the Steam Deck also does streaming. I didn't look into that because it would be neat to my games on my PC can stream to the Steam Deck, and I can kind of see where that would kind of be beneficial. But anyway, guys, I have to go and I have to get to work. Thanks for all that joined today. It was fun going through these major leaks, since CES is happening right now, we're about to get that announcement. I'm excited. Really, what I'm really excited about is, what's the new Mario game? I think that's my main question. Or new Zelda that's different than Tears of the Kingdom. But all right, until next time, see y'all later.